First up joining us will be UFC featherweight Daniel Pineda. We now welcome UFC featherweight Daniel Pineda. Daniel, thank you for the time today, sir.
How's it going, brother?
It's going well, thank you. We will take the first set of questions from Gabriel Gonzalez with Cageside Press.
Hey, Daniel, how are you?
I'm doing good.
It's good to see you. I want to ask you, you had that great return to the UFC in your last fight. We know 2019 ended how it did, so just how did having a great win like that affect your mood for this latest training camp?
Oh, man, it actually got me feeling a lot better, and especially getting Cub. So, man, feeling good.
After the last fight, you talked about how your friends won a lot of money betting on you. So who kind of shared the love the most with you after they won a lot of money?
Nobody.
What?
None of them.
No lunch, no nothing?
No, nothing. Oh, everybody tried to take me to lunch, but, man, I was feeling really fat. Literally right after the fight. I didn't want to eat nothing.
Understood. Look, you and Cub, both veterans. A lot of people feel like this is going to be one of the better fights on this card. Just how do you feel you match up with him?
I mean, I think it's going to be a good fight. We both have a lot of fights, and we both like to throw down and finish fights. So I think it'll be a good fight. I think it should be a performance of the night or a fight of the night. One of them two.
It's no secret he's coming off that serious knee injury and needed the surgery and everything. Without giving away too much of the game plan, knowing that, do you guys say like, hey, let's get some kicks in there, let's test this out? Is that ever part of it when you're talking with the coaches?
I kick no matter what, so leg hurt or not, I mean, I was going to kick him anyways. But the goal is take him down, so I'm going to take him down.
Hey, thank you, Daniel. Good luck.
Thank you, brother.
We will take the next set of questions from Omer Mert-Savci with S Sport.
Hello, Daniel. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Daniel, what is the difference between UFC and other organizations?
UFC's in the top of the chart. I mean, they're the best. Look, they're throwing fights. They've been throwing fights for the longest, even with all this Corona stuff. So that just shows you how good they are.
Thank you. Daniel, my last question. You have a winning streak right now. What do you want from UFC if you beat Swanson?
Man, if I beat Cub, man, I won a top 10 guy.
Okay, thank you.
Cool.
Good luck on Saturday, Daniel.
Thank you, brother.
Okay, Daniel, that looks like all the questions we had for you, sir. You are good to go.
Yes. All right. Thank you, brother.
Next up, we will be joined by UFC women's strawweight Virna Jandiroba. We now welcome the number 13th ranked UFC women's strawweight contender Virna Jandiroba. We will take the first set of questions from Gabriel Gonzalez with Cageside Press.
Hello, Virna. How are you?
Hello, I'm fine. And you?
I'm good, thank you. Virna, after your last fight, you said that you wanted the quick finish because you had lost your front tooth and you didn't want the fight to go too long. How's the tooth going? How is it?
Você entendeu? Falou que na última luta que você queria acabar a luta porque tinha perdido o dente da frente. Como é que tá o dente?
Pô, agora o dente tá tranquilo, já deu uma ajeitada no dente, trouxe até uma prótese ali daquele dente de vampiro, qualquer coisa a gente usa, mas tá tudo ok. Obrigada.
No, the tooth is doing good. I brought one of those little vampire teeth that you stick in, but it's fine. Thank you.
Are we going to see the vampire teeth at weigh-ins?
A gente vai ver na pesagem o dente vampiro.
Talvez, vai ser legal, né? Mas guardem surpresa.
Maybe that could be cool, but it might be a surprise.
Okay. Virna, for people who are not as smart about jiu-jitsu, how would you describe your grappling compared to Mackenzie's?
Para aqueles que não entendem tanto de jiu-jitsu, como é que você descreve o seu jiu-jitsu comparado com o da Mackenzie?
Bem, eu acho que o meu jiu-jitsu é um jiu-jitsu mais conservador, né? O meu grappling, na verdade, é algo... Eu sou mais conservadora, na verdade, dentro da luta, né? Eu acho que a Mackenzie, ela tem um jogo mais solto, ela encaixa posição fácil, ela gosta de birimbolar, né? Ela tem aquele jogo que é um jogo mais atual até. Eu acredito que o meu jogo é mais de pressão, mais old school mesmo.
So I think I have a very conservative grappling style. You know, I'm very conservative on the ground, as opposed to Mackenzie, who's got a loose game, and she uses a lot of more current jiu-jitsu maybe. She uses a lot of birimbolos and all that. So I think I have a more strong, old school style of grappling.
Both you and Mackenzie, it seems like the winner of this fight would really move forward in the division with a victory. Who would you want, or what would you like to see next with the win?
Com uma vitória, as duas estariam numa posição boa na categoria, mas com a sua vitória, quem que você gostaria de enfrentar na próxima?
Bem, eu não penso num nome, mas com certeza eu quero uma menina do top 10. Eu acredito que com a vitória eu entre ali no top 10, então por hora eu tenho pensado na luta com a Mackenzie, né? Um passo de cada vez, mas com certeza alguém que esteja no top 10, no top 5 também, tô para jogo.
So there's not any specific names that I'm thinking of, but I think that with this win, I'll get into in the top 10. So I'd love to face someone from the top 10 or maybe even top 5. I'll be game for that.
Thank you, Virna. That's all from me.
Thank you.
We will take the next set of questions from Ryan McCarthy with Low Kick MMA.
Hey, Virna, how's it going?
What's up, though?
I'm fine, and you?
Good, I'm good. Thanks for giving us some time here. I was curious, so how's it been preparing for someone like Mackenzie Dern, who has a ton of different skill sets, that can, give fighters challenges? Has it been difficult preparing for someone like her?
Como é que é se preparar para a Mackenzie, que é uma atleta que traz muita dificuldade, muito perigo para os adversários?
Bem, a minha preparação, como eu disse, né, como eu tenho dito, foi uma preparação muito especial, né, tecnicamente, mentalmente, então estou preparada. Com certeza, a Mackenzie é uma menina muito perigosa, mas eu gostaria de lembrar que eu também sou muito perigosa.
I've been saying I had a really special camp, technically and mentally and everything. I've been working a lot on everything. It was a really good camp, but I'm also very dangerous. She's dangerous, but I'm also a very dangerous fighter. Let me remind you of that.
Of course. And then going into this, fight on a pay-per-view against another ranked fighter, you both have only one loss on your record. So what's it like going into a huge pay-per-view, with a title fight on the card, and then of course, you're facing another ranked fighter as well. So what's it like preparing for going into a big pay-per-view event for you?
Como é que é se preparar e lutar num evento em pay-per-view contra uma adversária que também só tem uma derrota, assim, é uma luta com muita coisa em jogo num evento pay-per-view?
Pô, maravilhoso, na verdade, né? Eu tive o meu primeiro card numerado, né? Foi na última luta e agora essa surpresa bacana. Me alegro bastante, né? Mas, enfim, tento me equilibrar entre algo maravilhoso, mas é uma luta, né? É mais uma luta. É uma luta muito boa para mim, né? É algo muito maravilhoso, mas é uma luta. É uma luta e a gente vai chegar lá e fazer nosso trabalho.
No, I have my first fight in a numbered card in my last fight, and it's a wonderful experience, and I'm thankful to be on this pay-per-view card. But in the end of the day, it's a fight. It's an important fight. It's a great fight, but it's a fight, and we had to look at it as a fight.
For sure. Thank you for your time, Virna. Best of luck on Saturday.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Virna. That is all the questions that we had for you.
Okay, thank you.
We now welcome UFC featherweight Gavin Tucker. Gavin, thank you for the time today, sir.
Thanks for having me.
We will take the first set of questions from Gabriel Gonzalez with Cape Side Press.
Hey, Gavin. So this fight was one of those fights at the very start of the year with the pandemic. It kind of just got scrapped. You've obviously fought other people since then. So what's it like to now come back around to this one?
Yeah, it's good. I mean, we were scheduled, this will be the third time. Second officially with contract signed, but it's good. The preparation has already started for him and just kind of picked it up where I left off. So I'm really happy it got made.
I mean, when you have that extra time like that, I mean, you said you pick up where you left off. Do the coaches, do you feel like they found anything new when you guys were preparing for them? Or was it just, you know what, where were we at? We're getting right back to do the exact same thing.
Well, we both fought since. So I think, there was a little more reveal in what we're up against. And I'm sure they feel the same way. So I think it really depends. Yeah, I know that's a general answer, but it really depends on where you are and what you're looking for. I like to study as much as I can, so the more footage I have, the better. I think he's fought twice since we were originally booked, so it's nice to see a little more habits, see the growth, see the direction that he's heading in, and turn it into something that we can use for strategy.
I completely get that. How do you feel this fight plays out on Saturday between you and him?
Not to say the same answer again, but it's going to be, it depends is the answer. I think once I understand what the intentions are, you don't know what people are coming with, what they think is their plan A. I think once I understand what the intentions are, we're going to take one of two directions. But from my end, I'm looking to make this fight a real technician's fight. I know he comes with a lot of aggression, and he's going to try to make it dirty. I think that's his best route. So I'm going to make it super clean.
Okay, thank you, Gavin. Appreciate the time.
Double checking for other questions for Gavin Tucker. All right, we will take the next set of questions from Ryan McCarthy with Low Kick MMA.
Hey, Gavin, how's it going, man? Just wanted to see, you only have one loss on your record. You're, only one loss in the UFC too. So, what would be next for Gavin Tucker if you beat, Billy Q this Saturday? You're in a stacked featherweight division. So, do you have any certain names you'd like to see after this fight?
None particularly. Like I'm really enjoying the path I'm on right now. I want to obviously advance and go forward, but I also want to kind of grow accordingly, not jump ahead before I gain what I see as the experience necessary. But I do think someone with some time in the UFC, preset in this division, I don't want to say any names particular, but there's a lot of guys that have been around for a long time. Ricardo Lamas has been there. Darren Elkins has been there, Alex Caceres. There's been so many guys with so many fights at featherweight. And it seems to be a pattern I'm noticing in the matchmaking when a guy starts stepping up and starts looking towards the top 15. They get tested with someone who's got that veteran experience. So I think something like that would be good, and God willing, get this victory. I'll be on a 3-fight win. I know Caceres is on a 3-fight win, so that might be something Sean's looking at. Yeah, there's a lot of guys, and there's a lot of good guys with the same number of fights as me and similar records too. So I think there's a lot of opportunities to grow, a lot of challenges, and ideally for me, someone like that. I hadn't thought about it, and I'm certainly not trying to call anyone out or anything like that. I'm not in the place. I have business on Saturday, but someone like Caceres would be probably a good logical step if he's not already booked. Someone along the lines of that.
For sure. And I know you brought it up earlier. Billy Q is going to be, super aggressive, might be playing dirty too. So, what's it been like preparing for someone like him?
Yeah, the camp's been extremely good. I mean, what I've put in work athletically for the energy systems development has been the craziest I've ever done. Shark Tank Grounds, there's absolutely no chance that anyone's going to come in there and make it dirtier than I can make it, or be more fit than I am fit in this moment. So whatever comes in the fight, I'm ready for. But the A game is to make this technical and professional looking. But if the scalpel doesn't work, then we use the hounds.
For sure. Thanks for your time, Gavin. Best of luck on Saturday.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gavin. That looks like all the questions we had for you, sir. We appreciate the time.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Next up, we will be joined by UFC women's strawweight Sam Hughes. Sorry, I lied. Next up, we will be joined by UFC women's strawweight Mackenzie Dern. Apologies for my confusion. The next athlete will be Sam Hughes. We now welcome UFC women's strawweight Sam Hughes. Sam, thank you for the time.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
We will take the first set of questions from Gabriel Gonzalez with Capeside Press.
Hey, Sam. So obviously this fight is coming together pretty short notice. Can you tell us when they called you and just how that happened? Like, where were you at when you got that call from UFC?
Yeah, I was actually at my house. It was early Sunday morning, and Mick Maynard called. Immediately, we jumped on the phone with Eddie, my coach, and he let us know who the opponent was, when it was. We were both kind of shocked, but we were always game ready and ready to go.
I want to go back a minute because you have that big fight for the LFA title. Doesn't end your way. The champ went on to fight Contender Series. Was there ever any of those emotions like, that just could have been me?
A little bit. But I know what I messed up in that fight, and I knew the things that we needed to work on. It really wasn't even like anything we needed to necessarily work on. It was just happen chance, and I kind of made one little mistake and she capitalized on it. So it wasn't that big of a deal. I knew I would get my shot again, and the fact that I wasn't undefeated at that point, the weight was off my shoulders, everything else. So I'm fine with it. I knew my chance was going to come, and I was in, I'm happy the way everything turned out. Everything happens for a reason, and I'm glad I'm at where I'm at right now.
I want to ask, you have that great bounce back performance. That's the one I think would say got you the UFC shot now. I mean, I guess when you went back and now that you have it, how would you say your morale is going into this fight and just this whole opportunity?
Yeah, I'm just super focused. It's pretty funny because I feel the exact same way as I went into my last fight in October against Heinley. And I'm just super confident, super focused, really sharp. Coach and I had a shakeout last night and a few nights before. So I feel really, really good going into this fight. I think the best thing for me was that I actually didn't have a 6-week training camp or a 4-week training camp to sit and let the nerves sit in. I've just been, busy with everything else. So it's been good. It's been a really productive week, and I'm super excited to get in the cage Saturday night.
My final question, obviously you're fighting a veteran in Tisha Torres who's been in the UFC a minute. Just how do you feel you match up with her stylistically?
Yeah, I think obviously I respect her a lot. She's a veteran in the UFC, and she's ranked number 9 for a reason. But I know where her holes are, and I know where my strengths are, so I tend to capitalize on that and show you guys on Saturday.
Hey, thank you for the time, Sam.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
We will take the next set of questions from Ryan McCarthy with Low Kick MMA.
Hey, Sam, how are you?
Hey, Ryan, how's it going?
I'm good. Thanks for giving us some time here. So I'm sure you've had a chaotic, last week or two here. So, what's it been like, getting that call, and then of course you're going, your UFC debut on a pay-per-view, nonetheless, and then of course against a top 10 opponent in Tisha Torres. So, what's it like, kind of doing that? Like, is it different for you going in here now into the UFC versus someone like Tisha?
Yeah, the only thing different I feel like is the short notice fight. Obviously, I was a veteran in LFA and super excited to be there, and that's a high level production. So nothing really changes for me, just the opponent. I'm super focused, ready to go, and it was just a short notice fight, so nothing really changes. Me and my coach have a really good game plan, so I'm ready to showcase that.
For sure. And then how about preparation for Tisha? I mean, obviously you haven't had much time to prepare for her. So how has that been, preparing for her on such short notice? Is that difficult for you and the team to do that?
Not really. My coach is a genius. So as far as strategy goes, I'm very confident in him, very confident in our game plan. I've watched Tisha all of her fights, not just this week, but her whole season on The Ultimate Fighter and things like that. So I'm familiar with basically all the top 15 straw weights. That's my weight class I should be.
For sure. Yeah. And my last question here is, of course, if you pull off the W on Saturday night here, do you have any names that you look out for? Of course, if you beat a ranked fighter, you probably should be fighting another ranked fighter. So do you have any names, on your list here after the fight?
Yeah, sorry, Ryan. When I think you meant when I pull off the W.
Yeah,
and no, I don't have anybody on the radar. As far as that goes, my coach makes all those big decisions for me and my management. So I'll just see kind of where it goes. I'm just excited and I'm focused on Saturday night, and that's the only thing I've got going on.
For sure. Well, thanks for your time, Sam, and I appreciate it, and best of luck on Saturday night.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ryan.
We will take the next set of questions from Pablo Santamaria with Noti MMA Ecuador.
Hi, Sam. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can, loud and clear.
Okay, the first thing I want to ask you, what was your reaction when you get the call? Did you expect the call from the UFC?
Not really, but I knew it was coming like semi-soon, maybe after the first of the year. I didn't expect December. But like I said, we're always training and stuff, so I'm excited.
Okay, so what are your thoughts about Tisha, because she is ranked number 9, and with a victory, where do you think you can be maybe a top 5 opponent next?
Yeah, I don't really know. I'm not really concerned about what's next. I know that we're going to go out there on Saturday, get the win, and then see what kind of happens. And I'll talk to my coach, talk to my team, and see what we're going to go from there.
Do you have, what's your prediction for the fight?
My prediction is to just go out there, have a really good performance, showcase what I'm about, what our team stands for, and get that win.
I get it. Thank you very much, Sam, for your time, and good luck on the fight.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sam. That looks like all the questions we had for you. We appreciate the time.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Next up, we will be joined by women's strawweight Tisha Torres. We now welcome the number 9 ranked UFC women's strawweight contender, Tisha Torres. Tisha, thank you for the time today.
You're welcome.
We will take the first set of questions from Gabriel Gonzalez with Cageside Press.
Hey, Tisha, how are you?
I'm well, thank you.
So can you walk us through it? You get the call, Angela's out, they bring you Sam Hughes. I mean, where were you at? When did you get the call? All of that stuff.
I got it Friday night, and we were actually in our car going through like a Christmas holiday show. We were waiting in line in the traffic, and I look at my phone at my text, and the text from Mick saying, "Hey, Angela's out due to COVID." I literally like teared up. I was so upset because I've known about this fight for like 3 months now, and I was really excited to fight her again. Yeah, it wasn't really that fun of a night after that.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that. That does sound like a bummer. When you have a situation like this, you know, just about a week's notice, is it like cramming for a test in terms of trying to come up with a strategy, or is it just more you're going to go out there and do what comes to you?
You know what? Me and Mick went back and forth for 2 days trying to find an opponent. I asked for everyone above me. I asked for Carla, Michelle, Claudia, Jan, all of those girls, and none of them were either they were not available or they said no. I don't know what the whole spiel was. But he said really the only way I'd get a fight is if he signed somebody new. And I said, go ahead and do it. You know, I want to fight. I haven't fought since June. I want to get in some ring time and, you know, go out there and get a win.
Gotcha. On your last one, you got the victory. You snapped that skid. How did that affect the mood going into this latest training camp? Obviously before the change, but I'd imagine it took some of that pressure off your shoulders because everyone was talking about, you know, it hadn't gone your way the last few times.
Yeah, I had some tough fights. I'm the only one in my division who's fought all 5 of the UFC 115-pound champions, and the fights that I've had with them have all gone to decision. Nothing's happened to me in the fight. It was basically they, outpointed me or took me down. I wasn't able to do what I needed to do. Nothing happened. And you see fights with them fighting these other girls, and they're TKOing them, destroying them, blooding them up. So I just think it was a matter of fact of my mindset and where I've been with my mental health. But definitely going in there in my last fight and getting a win gave me some extra motivation to, want to be at the top again and want to go for that title belt one day.
Finally, what are your thoughts on Sam as an opponent and how you match up with her?
I think she looks like a tough girl. I mean, if I'm being in all honesty, I've never heard of her before Friday, so I had to Google her. I was like, wait a second, let me Google her. But she looks up for the challenge. I mean, I'm sure she is coming in here trying to do her best this coming Saturday and, shock the world. But unfortunately, she's not going to be able to do that. But I am super grateful to her taking on the fight. And it's a big fight, it's a big opportunity to come in and for her first UFC fight me. So I'm just thankful to have a fight, and I think it's going to be a good one.
Hey, thanks for the time, Tisha.
You're welcome.
We will take our next set of questions from Jim Varsalone with the Miami Herald.
Thank you. Tisha, a victory, where does that take you to the next chapter or the next fight? What does a victory mean for you on this event?
I think a victory is going to honestly keep me exactly where I'm at, but I would definitely like a top 10 opponent. I've been asking for a top 10 opponent my last 2 fights. I was supposed to fight in March. It fell through because of COVID. Then I got Brianna, who was sort of a newcomer as well, ex-Invicta champion. I went in there and dominated. Now this fight, I was supposed to have Angela, who's ranked, I think, 1 or 2 below me. So I really just like to have a top 10 opponent going into my next fight after this one.
In South Florida, you from Fort Lauderdale, but where are you residing now and where are you training now?
I've been in Colorado Springs for the past 3.5 years, and I train out of Pound for Pound Fitness. That's my main gym there in the Springs.
Who will be with you in your corner for this one?
My coach from there, Justin Houghton, my other coach, wrestling coach, Jason Kutz, and then a new coach who I've been working with for the past 8 months or so. Last fight, I think it was just too quick to bring him into my fight, but this fight I'm bringing him. His name's Clement.
Has there been any different training for you as far as the last 2 or 3 fights? When you went decisions, you were losing, then you got the victory. Have you seen your training change at all, different things you've been doing, or has it been pretty much business as usual?
I think it really just has to do with my mindset and getting my whole mental health back in gear and that self-confidence. It's still growing. I'm working on it every day. I really am a great fighter. It's me and my thoughts about my capabilities. And I think that's what changes the game as well. And over the last 2 fight camps, I've been able to become a better athlete and a more coachable athlete. And I think that's what helped my game as well.
And then lastly, for me, because you mentioned the mental part of the game, have you had any special mental coaching, someone more geared toward that, the self-confidence level?
No, I've just been seeing my counselor that I see that, provides me meds and stuff like that. And just honestly, me and self-talk. And then Raquel helps me a lot as well and trying to help me on my down days. So it just changes from day to day, but it's really just self-perseverance and pushing forward.
All the best and thank you.
Thank you.
We will take the next set of questions from Pablo Santamaria with Noti MMA Ecuador.
Hi, Tisha, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, when you find out that Angela was out, maybe you thought wait to her, or that was not an option?
If I was to wait for Angela, it probably would have been February or March. So that would be 8 or 9 months without fighting. And I didn't want to wait. Like I said, I asked for the 4 other girls who are ranked in the top 10, top 7. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to get them. So I just didn't want to wait. I wanted to get in there and get some ring time.
I get it. Do you think because Sam is making her UFC debut, it will be dangerous because she might want to give a very good first impression to the people or the boss or everyone in the UFC?
Of course, anything can happen in a fight, and I'm definitely not overlooking Sam. I think everyone presents a potential threat to a fight, whether it's dangerous or not. I mean, to me, I don't care. For me, I believe if I want to be the best, I have to be able to beat anybody who they put in front of me. So whether that's a newcomer or the number one contender.
Sure. Do you have a prediction for the fight?
I'm gonna have my hand raised.
And if you get the W, who you want to call out?
Not necessarily call it anybody. I just want someone ranked above me, preferably, definitely in the top 10, since I'm in the top 10. But like I said, any one of those girls I mentioned, Claudia, Carla, Michelle, Yan, I'd be very happy to fight any of them.
I get. Would you like to send a message to your Ecuadorian fans, to your Latin American fans?
A todos mis fanáticos de Latinoamérica, de los Estados Unidos, gracias por su apoyo y voy a tener una pelea bien grande ese sábado.
Muchas gracias, Tisha. Good luck on your fight.
Thank you so much.
We will take the next set of questions from Ryan McCarthy with Low Kick MMA.
Hey Tisha, hope all is well. Just wanted to see a couple things here. So, how is it preparing for someone like Sam on such short notice, going from someone like Angela to Sam, in probably less than a week's notice? So, how is that difficult for you and the team to prepare for someone like that?
No, it wasn't too difficult. I mean, like I said, I'd never heard of her before, so I just went off of a few videos I saw online, and before I said yes. And the big difference would be if she was like a wrestler coming in there, but she's not. So I feel like she's a well-rounded fighter. There's not one particular thing that she likes over another. And I think that her height she's still taller than me, a little bit taller than Angela. So she'll have a little bit more of a reach advantage. And I'll do the things that I need to do to keep her at bay and keep her at my will. So it wasn't much of a difference. She's not as technical Muay Thai, obviously, or the skill level as Angela in that aspect. But she possesses different things in her game that I think I'll be able to accommodate in my own.
For sure. And then I know you mentioned you'd like a top 10 opponent after this fight. But would you consider running it back with Angela again?
I mean, if it made sense, but at this point, I definitely would like somebody ranked above me. Prior to getting Angela, I was asking for somebody ranked above me, and I kept getting the same answer. They're either injured, don't want to fight me, or have a matchup already. So I would really like someone ahead of me.
For sure. Well, thanks for your time, Tisha. Best of luck on Saturday.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tisha. That is all the questions we had for you. We appreciate the time.
Awesome. You guys have a good one.
Next up, we will be joined by UFC featherweight Billy Quarantillo. We now welcome UFC featherweight Billy Quarantillo. Billy, thank you for the time, sir.
No problem, guys. Thanks for having me.
We will take the first set of questions from Gabriel Gonzalez with Cageside Press.
Hey, Billy, happy belated birthday.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
So obviously you're right close to the fight. Were you able to celebrate, or are you just saving it up so you could go big after?
Yeah, no, I wasn't able to celebrate yet. My birthday was, yesterday? It was, Wednesday? Oh, yeah. So, yeah, my birthday was on Tuesday. So I was actually quarantined by myself in my hotel room. So waiting for the COVID results. So I'm going to wait to celebrate, Saturday night or Sunday when I get back home with my fiance.
This fight was one of those scrapped early on in the pandemic. You guys have both fought other people since then. So what was it like to kind of come all the way back around to the matchup?
Yeah, so for those who don't know, we were supposed to fight in April, and that was right when, COVID and the pandemic started. So we already did a couple weeks training camp, probably like a month training camp getting ready for Gavin. And we loved the matchup back then. And now I think I got a lot more experience. I got a lot more cage time, especially at the Apex. I was able to go out there and get 2 big wins in between. I think it just adds a lot more stakes to the, what could happen in this fight, the value of the fight. It's on a big pay-per-view now too. So I was excited then, and I'm even more excited now.
In terms of the strategy and working with your coaches, is it just like, hey, we're going to pick up where we left off around April, or do you feel like you guys even found even more new stuff having seen more of his fights this year?
Yeah, without giving too much away, we definitely see a lot of areas where I feel like I could beat him in. And, just knowing that I was already going to fight him and, to get booked with him again, I think it took a lot of like the nerves away. Like when I first get someone's name and you're starting to game plan for them, you start getting those nerves and you got to start looking them up. But I feel like we already knew what Gavin brings to the table. He's a vet. He does a lot of things well. There's definitely a little bit of there's some holes in his games that I plan on exploiting. And so, yeah, we kind of just left off where we started, but we have a lot more going into this one this time around.
This would obviously cap off a solid year for you in terms of inside the cage. What would you if you get the win, what would you like in 2021 next for you?
Yeah, I definitely think this was a huge year for me. If I'm able to go 4-0 in 12 months, my UFC debut was December 7th last year. So to go 4-0 in my first year, it would just be, a dream come true, really, to start my career off this way. And I'm definitely looking at that top 15. I think either after a win over Gavin Tucker would be a top 15 or definitely a big name on a big card. So I don't want to overlook anyone, but that's definitely what I'm looking forward to past this.
Hey, thank you, Billy. Good luck.
No problem. Thank you.
We will take the next set of questions from Jim Barcelone with the Miami Herald.
Thank you. I'm just curious, how did this training go for you? Who helped you train for this fight? And were you in Tampa training? Where did you train?
Yeah, I was in Tampa. I trained at Gracie Tampa South, where I've done all my training camps. This is my 32nd fight out of there in Tampa. So it was the same old crew, man. It was my head coach Matt Arroyo, my striking coach Dan Rawlings, one of my main teammates Matt Frivola, who's got a huge fight coming up January 23rd, which I'm going to go and head out there for that. And just the same old crew. My brother Jim, who's always with me during fight week. And it seems like it's just this year's just been a long, continuous training camp. I'm excited to get this fight over with and take a few weeks off because it's been a super busy year. But yeah, it's the same old crew, and Tampa and Florida is my home. So Miami Herald, what's up, man?
There you go. All right. So it's been such an interesting 2020. Does that prepare you for whatever 2021 is ahead for you? Because not just fighting, but just training and preparing. It's just been such a crazy 2020 with COVID.
Yeah, I think so. And I've said it since the Spike Carlisle fight that I can't wait to fight in front of fans again. I miss the fans. My UFC debut in DC, it was just incredible fighting in front of, I think it was like 10 or 12,000 fans. So yeah, if I have to keep fighting the Apex, that's fine. This will be my 4th fight there in about a year and a half since my Contender Series. So I'm very comfortable now here. but I would still love to obviously have everyone back, which of course everyone wants to, and as safely as possible. I can't wait for the fans, but yeah, I can't imagine 21 being more difficult than this, being locked in the hotel, having to do COVID tests all the time.
You mentioned you're going to take some time off, and what is that going to be like? Because you've been go, go, go for a while.
Yeah. So, I'm kind of looking at this as this has been like my regular season, trying to go 4-0. And then once I'm able to get to that 4-0, I plan on taking a few weeks off. I'm going to corner my teammate Matt Frivola in Abu Dhabi for fight week out there. So I plan on going out there and just kind of helping him get ready. And then after that, I'm looking at like it was like a regular season to like a playoff run where I'm going to start fighting guys in the top 15, big names, big pay-per-view events. That's kind of what I'm looking forward to after that. And right after this fight, getting anything looked at. I got some minor little stuff, nothing crazy, but I got some things I gotta, get fixed until I take my next fight.
Well, all the best and thank you.
Thanks, Jim.
We will take our next set of questions from Ryan McCarthy with Low Kick MMA.
Hey, Billy, how's it going, man?
Good, Ryan. How are you, bro?
I'm good, man. Thanks for giving us some time here. I was curious, what when you look back on, it's been about 5 years since you were on The Ultimate Fighter. When you look back, what are some of the biggest lessons you learned while you were there?
It's I think I've just grown so much as a person and as a fighter. At the time, I was really bitter and upset that I didn't get into the UFC right away. But at this point now, I don't really think I was necessarily ready. I was only pro for about 5 years. And so I think just growing as a person, I worked a ton on my wrestling. I worked a ton on my strength and conditioning. I knew right from then that my natural weight class would be 145 as opposed to 155. Everyone out here is cutting a decent amount of weight. So I think the weight class, that decision to go to 45 and to stay at featherweight and just growing overall, really improving on my wrestling, really helping out with my fighter IQ, being in that situation with so many champions, Uriah Faber, Cody Garbrandt, Lance Palmer, the list goes on. Just being around them and having that, mindset of what it takes to get to that highest level. I think I've grown quite a bit since then. And I think, when I got signed last year, I think it was just perfect timing. And that's why you're able to see me successful now in the UFC is because I'm actually ready now.
For sure, man. And then kind of going off that, you're in a stacked featherweight division and, you're on an 8-fight win streak. You're 4-0 in the UFC. So is there any certain names that you'd like to see after this fight?
There are some that I don't necessarily want to give away right now. I don't want to start calling people out before I get this win. But definitely, if they have a ranked number next to them, that's who I'm kind of looking at, because I feel like if I do get this win against Gavin Tucker, who's 3-1 in the UFC, he's a stud and I got a tough task in front of me. If I'm able to get past him, I think that would put me right in the 20th ranking or even closer. So I definitely think, I got into the sport to be a world champion. I just turned 32 the other day. So my all of our clock is ticking. So I definitely am looking for some big fights there. And there's a lot of matchups that I really like in that top 15. And there's some other big names that I'd really like to fight that I plan on revealing maybe after this fight.
Awesome, man. And then one last thing was, I know you're a big Barstool Sports guy from early days as well. So what's it like for you to get interviews with them? They're a media juggernaut now. So is that crazy for you to be a part of that?
It really is. Shout out to Robbie Fox, my guy. Shout out to Al Prez and Big Cat and all those guys. I've been that was definitely kind of a surreal moment because I've been following Barstool since about 2010 when they were just a really small company. I would look at their website and kind of interact with those guys on there, and to now have a couple of interviews and me and Robbie DM each other all the time, just to be close with those guys. It is kind of surreal, and that was definitely one of the biggest media people that I've talked to. And I've done some other really big interviews since then. So this last year has kind of been like a whirlwind, and I don't want it to stop. So I just want to keep going out there and having exciting fights, getting big finishes, and keep this ball rolling.
For sure, man. Well, thanks for giving us your time, and best of luck on Saturday. I really look forward to it.
All right, Ryan, take care, man. Appreciate it.
All right, Billy, that looks like all the questions we had for you, sir. We really appreciate the time.
All right, thank you, guys.
Next up, we will be joined by UFC women's strawweight Mackenzie Dern. We now welcome the number 11th ranked UFC women's strawweight, Mackenzie Dern. Mackenzie, thank you so much for the time.
Hi, thanks for having me.
We will take the first set of questions from Gabriel Gonzalez with Tisha Torres.
Hey, Mackenzie, it's good to see you again.
Yay, good to see you.
I know, you could just hear me, right?
Yeah.
I want to start. This is your second fight with the team at RVCA. Obviously, you've had a lot more time with them this time. Just what difference has that made with just going into the fight?
It's making the biggest difference, It's like one of the reasons I was so excited and I really want to fight in December. I don't know what's going to happen in 2021 with the COVID, if things are going to close or they're going to get better. So I was like, man, I'm training every day. I'm seeing such a big evolution on my game, my striking with coach, because he's in California, my dad lives in Arizona. So, I'm training more my boxing than my jiu-jitsu, and I'm like, man, I'm seeing such a big evolution and everything. So I really want to, try to take advantage of this momentum that I have from my last two fights, advantage of, my training with him and how much, potential he's showing me that I have. So I'm really happy and I'm excited to see if I can show everyone on this fight.
The interviews I've seen with you, you're clearly very excited to show that work. I can really hear that in your voice. I see you on Instagram, though, and I see you are still rolling with your dad. Obviously, Megaton is well known. How does he fit in? Because I'm assuming he's always there to help you with your jiu-jitsu, but how does he fit in with your other coaches and all the other work they want to do with you?
Yeah, my dad, he's a great guy. He's so charismatic, and it's funny because he lives in Arizona and he's always competing, and he's still competing till today. I think he competes in 2 weekends or next weekend or in 2 weeks from now. So it's kind of he comes and when he comes, we just train jiu-jitsu together, train the time he's with me, and then he goes back, and then I come and then I go and keep training my boxing or wrestling, whatever I need to do. So I think the coach like it, because it's not this mix of, no, you need to stay standing up, you need to stay going down to there. He's not really trying to push. He's never trying to make a strategy for me or anything like that. He's just keeping me of how we were on the beginning, that I had so much success, during my whole jiu-jitsu career. And, obviously now doing my MMA career, with the submissions and everything. So he just kind of always keeps my mind grounded and always remember me about my roots and always kicking my butt all the time, beating me up, So that's good. I know there's no woman that can fight me that's going to be worse than my dad. He always puts the pressure and everything. And that's what I need,
Now that sounds like true love right there. That's great. I want to ask you, because obviously Virna's solid in jiu-jitsu. I don't need to tell you, you're obviously very decorated in jiu-jitsu. For people who are not as smart, how would you describe the difference between your grappling and hers?
It's funny because I think everyone's trying to find this big difference, in the grappling and things like that. I think her grappling is a lot kind of pressure and, passing and things like that. And people see me, doing these crazy leg locks and arm bars and kind of a little bit more looser and stuff like that. But man, I'm a complete fighter, jiu-jitsu fighter. I've been fighting, I think people don't realize, like, I have this pressure passing too, I've had to fight absolute divisions, my whole jiu-jitsu career. So I really think I'm a more complete fighter now. I'm doing everything, like from pressure to pass like her, all the way to doing, beating bowling, going on the legs and the feet and jumping, all these triangles, omoplatas and stuff like that, the loose game too, even you can say like heel hooks and things like that we're not used to doing in jiu-jitsu, pure jiu-jitsu tournaments, So I really think the biggest difference is hers is maybe a little bit more one-dimensional, that is effective. It's really effective, especially when you have a ground and pound and stuff like that. But I think people don't realize that I know that style too, and that's part of my jiu-jitsu game too, is just to be well-rounded and to be the best in the world.
Hey, thank you, Mackenzie. Good luck.
Thank you.
We will take the next set of questions from Chester Luo with PP Sport.
Mackenzie, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Fine, thank you. I'm Chester from PP Sport China. And first of all, I would like to tell you that you already have a lot of fans among Chinese Jiu-Jitsu practitioners, and including me. And we all hope you can get the victory this Saturday.
Oh, thank you so much. My first ADCC that I was invited to was going to be in Beijing, and I had my ACL tear like 3 weeks before, so I was never able to go to compete in China, but I hope to go there one day and train there and maybe meet you guys. It'll be a pleasure.
Yeah. So my first question is, before you became a pro MMA fighter, you were already the pound for pound #1 women jiu-jitsu athlete, and I would like to ask you that you're fighting for you're fighting in MMA. You're fighting for yourself or fighting for jiu-jitsu?
That's a good question. I think I'm fighting for jiu-jitsu. I went into the MMA for that, for jiu-jitsu, and the more like my last two fights after my pregnancy, was 2 submission performance of the night bonus. And I think I'm really just trying to show how jiu-jitsu is effective, especially like when you mix punches and everything. So my goal always was to bring jiu-jitsu to a big platform, like, Damian Maia, like Royce Gracie, like all these jiu-jitsu fighters, who really showed the UFC, and be like the woman inspiration for the jiu-jitsu and make jiu-jitsu even more famous than more famous as possible.
Okay. And my next question is, since the achievement you had made in jiu-jitsu, and you're naturally attract more attention when you're switched to MMA, and your opponent Jandiroba had mentioned that the victory over you will bring her more visibility. So would this kind of attention be a kind of pressure for you?
I don't think it's a pressure. I think definitely it's exciting, and I think fighting Virna, because she's a jiu-jitsu fighter too, it's going to be able to give a lot of opportunities to show a little bit my striking, Of course, my plan isn't to win the fight striking, but I definitely think it's going to give a lot more opportunities to show and maybe hurt her a little bit on my striking, so the jiu-jitsu will be even easier. But I think it's going to be a great fight, and it's good too. If I beat her too, it's going to show, it's going to help my name too on the jiu-jitsu as the best jiu-jitsu fighter in women's jiu-jitsu fighter in the UFC, So I think we're both in the same boat. I think a lot of my following, if she beats me, will follow to her and really give her a lot of respect and stuff like that. But I think the same way, more for me in the MMA world, she has, I think, 16 or 17 fights. If I beat her, especially with the jiu-jitsu, it'll help bring my name a little bit more she's one of the best jiu-jitsu in the MMA world.
Okay, thank you for your time, and good luck to your Saturday.
Yeah, thank you so much. Bye.
We will take the next set of questions from Ryan McCarthy with Low Kick MMA.
Hey, Mackenzie, how are you?
Hey, Ryan, nice to see you or hear you.
So I wanted to see how how's the preparation for Virna? I know she's she has a unique skill set, difficult to prepare for sure. And you're both ranked fighters. So how has it been preparing for someone like Virna?
Yeah, I trained a lot my striking. I trained my jiu-jitsu too, for sure, just to make sure I'm on point and everything's clean and my timing is good. Since that's both of our strengths is the ground. So I definitely figured we're gonna both be on the ground sooner or later in the fight, and it's just gonna be who's thinking faster, who has the better options, the better transitions. But I trained a lot my striking for this fight. I think it will make the takedowns, and if I can hurt her a little bit on the striking and have a little bit more opportunities to show like my weakness against her weakness and show that my weakness is not my weakness anymore. I think that was kind of my goal for this camp. Just be prepared for everything and take advantage of them train. I have my whole fight camp with Coach Perillo on this fight, so really there's been a big change in my level of my striking, and I think I'm going to be able to show that on this fight.
For sure. And then kind of going off that, I mean, if you were, when you beat Virna, a ranked fighter, do you have a name in the top 10 that you're targeting after this fight?
No name in particular. I think a lot of things are going to happen in 2021 with in between the top 10. I think a lot of the girls are going to fight each other, so I don't really want to say surname now and then it changes and that maybe a certain girl was number, 5 and then goes to 7 or something like that, but definitely 2021, I want to try to pick a little bit more of my fights to really get me one step closer to the belt, not just fight anyone for any time, for anything. I really want to fight, top fighters and show that I have the level to be the champion, and I don't want to get there like by just fighting anyone. I want to get there by proving myself. And I think the best way to prove is by fighting the top contenders.
For sure. Well, thank you for your time, Mackenzie. I really look forward to your fight on Saturday, and best of luck.
Thank you.
We will take the next set of questions from Augusto Niez-Gay with Somos MMA.
Hey, Mackenzie, how are you? Can you hear me?
Yes,
okay.
hi.
Can you hear me? Oh, okay. Todo bien. Mackenzie, my first question is, I don't know if you heard what Virna has said, but she thinks that a win over you will make her more notorious for the fans because she thinks you already are a star of the sport. So I want to ask you, what do you feel when people say that? Do you consider yourself a star, or it sounds crazy for you?
No, I don't think I don't see myself as a star yet. I definitely see potential for me to be a great champion, multiple champion, things like that. But I feel like I need to prove myself, so the fact that they have people that see me there already, I say like, man, that's good, that's good. I think that's why a lot of people accept the fights with me, I think because I came into MMA with the whole jiu-jitsu community supporting me, with a big following, with a big family behind me, I think that in jiu-jitsu is, I think, really effective in MMA, so I think to be dangerous in that not a lot of people are good at jiu-jitsu in the women's division, it can take me far. And so I'm happy. It's really nice for her to say that, and I don't feel any pressure or anything like that, I feel like I need to prove myself, because I came from the pregnancy, I took 1 year off, and I'm trying to get back in and really show people like, hey, I want that respect, that I am a star, not that I'm just one more girl. I'm looking for that respect that she said,
Yes, I understand you. And Mackenzie, how do you prepare a fight against someone who's very good at the grappling department like you? And how do you neutralize her style?
Yeah, it's funny because for this camp, I trained my jiu-jitsu, just to make sure my timing is good and my transitions are good and my thinking is really on point, but I'm really confident, on my jiu-jitsu. I think her style is passing, a little bit more passing and pressure and stuff like that. And I fought girls like that all the time. I do that type too, even though I don't show too much. in MMA because I've submit before, like submit on, with leg locks or, I fall on the ground because I'm trying to do my striking. But I know how to do that style too. I've done that my whole life, pressure pass too and things like that. So I really trained a lot of my striking for this fight. I'm trying to, I don't want to be on the ground with her in the first minute. I think we're both strong. We're both dry. We're not sweaty or bloody or anything. I really trying to get a little bit tired, get her a little bit tired, and then to be a little bit like cleaner, the submissions. I think she's going to be good defense, good pressure. So I don't want to be feeling that like in the first minute. I really want to show all my training, my striking that I've been doing. And I think it's a good fight for me to show this and everything I've been working on.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Mackenzie, and good luck on Saturday.
Thank you. Gracias.
We will take the next set of questions from Pablo Santamaria with Noti MMA Ecuador.
Hi, Mackenzie. Nice talking to you again.
Yes, you too.
Okay, so in the post of Coach Marillo on Instagram, your boxing is looking sharp. Do you think it will be an important key in this fight?
Yes, definitely. I think this is a perfect fight for me to show my striking, my boxing, because it's her weakness, her strength is her jiu-jitsu like mine, So I've been training so much. I really hope I get the opportunity to show it. And I think this is going to be a great fight for me to be able to, knock out or knock her down and then submit, or at least be able to show that my level, my striking is getting better,
I get it. So she's also very good on the ground. She's very good. Do you think your jiu-jitsu is better than her jiu-jitsu, or at the same level?
Yeah, I think my jiu-jitsu is more complete, more well-rounded, and more not effective. I think her style is a little bit more basic, but that's very effective in MMA, but it's nothing like I've never seen before. I've fought girls like that all the time, so I definitely think, I think it's harder for her to fight someone like me than for me to fight someone like her,
Okay, what's your prediction for the fight, Mackenzie?
I think we're gonna stay standing up a little bit, both of us. I think we're gonna put on a great fight. I don't think it's gonna be easy for either one of us. On the ground, I think it's gonna be a lot of transitions from the bottom to the top to the back and things like that. But I think that hopefully I can get the submission in the end.
Okay, I wanted to ask you because your training partner Chito is going to face Jose Aldo, a legend of your country. Who you got in that fight?
It's going to be a good fight, I know that both of them are training hard. I don't know who's going to win. I see Chito training all the time, and he's really focused and he's really hungry. So I think it's going to be very dangerous, but I don't know who will win. I'm really excited to see this fight.
Okay, the first time I talked to you, the Ecuadorian fans were very happy because you greet them. Would you like to send another message to your Ecuadorian fans?
To my Ecuadorian fans, muchas gracias. Thank you so much for all the support. I hope to go to Ecuador and visit you guys and train and surf too. My husband, we can surf. So thank you guys so much, and I hope that you guys enjoy the fight this weekend.
Okay, thank you very much, Mackenzie, for your time, and good luck.
Thank you so much. Muchas gracias.
Yes.
We will take the next set of questions from Stephen Morocco with MMA Fighting.
Hey, Mackenzie. Just was curious, did the incident between your ex-coach and your husband make you rethink who you sort of let into your inner circle as a fighter?
Oh, yeah, 100%. I was like, for me, I felt like almost so bad that I spent like 1.5 years, believing some things and going through some things that, now I see like, man, that's not normal for coaching and for fighters to go through. It's really crazy. And it's like, man, definitely gave me a different vision on, my camps and just my life, in general, and my career, who I want near me and stay close, and really who you open up to. And it's really dangerous, what we do is dangerous. We get punched in the face, can break your nose, can ruin your career, by knee surgeries or things like that, so it's not like just, to give in the hands of people for ego or things like that. You need to be like with real professionals, and you need to feel good. And, a happy fighter or a happy athlete, that's the best camp, when you're happy with what you're doing and not having like a different battle in your mind, and then a battle on the fight, and then a battle, in the family with their coaches. That's not normal. So definitely made me think like 2 times, and now I see like so much of evolution and everything in my career.
So what led you to Jason Perillo? Was it his history, or was it something else?
Yeah, it was definitely, I had heard of him before, and Pat, the owner of Ruka, I know he's known me since I'm a little baby, from jiu-jitsu. So, I know his like more private gym, the Ruka. So I wasn't sure if Coach Pearl would want to train me. I know that he's trained like such great fighters, Chris, BJ Penn, who is a jiu-jitsu guy. So I really like that BJ was jiu-jitsu and Coach was able to, to work with him to be champion, all these things. But I was kind of nervous, like, man, I hope that Coach will want to work with me. I left the lab, and then I left this last gym. I said maybe he's gonna think that I'm like a problem fighter, or something like that. And he said like, okay, come in. Man, I'm so happy he did, because like there's a reason why he's one of the best in the world. It's like it really does make a big difference.
I talked to Hobson Gracie the other day, and he said it gets exhausting going to new gyms because people look at his last name and they instantly he's instantly a target. Do you experience the same thing?
No, I think a lot of the gym, a lot of camps, the lab was like more team, so it was a lot of people, and they had a lot of people in the UFC with big names, and things like that. So it was really just kind of one more, and everyone was pushing me good and stuff like that. Black House, was kind of a little bit more team, to like more than one fighters, but I think I do better at private gyms, I think the Ruka, it's perfect, because I can just go do my thing, train. I see like Cheeto over there. I see, Bisping and Luke, and everyone's kind of doing their own thing. And you can watch and really see what these like world champions are doing. And like, okay, I see like Cheeto's in the gym. I need to be in the gym too, because that's where I want to be. I see Luke's in the gym. I need to go to, so really pushes you to have these high level fighters, but without that mix of everyone trying to kill you and all these things, and stuff like that. So I really like the gym, and I think the private gym is kind of more the way to go for my style,
For sure. My last question, you came into MMA as a specialist in one area. What advice would you have for somebody like the boxer Clarissa Shields, who's trained so intensely in one area, and now she has to learn a new set of skills on this big stage?
I think it just, stay consistent. I think for her who's starting now to be, mixed martial arts, her boxing is going to take her a long way for sure, but to not just train jiu-jitsu depending on who she fights, like, oh, I'm going to fight a jiu-jitsu girl, so now I'll start jiu-jitsu, start to train it from the beginning, twice a week. Wrestling her weaknesses, because I think she's going to go really long, just really far with her boxing, but when it comes the day that she fights a jiu-jitsu girl, something she's going to be already prepared, if she starts now, and just always consistent and not get dismotivated, when you can't punch, have to be like in a gi and things like that,
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
We will take our last set of questions from Omar Mert Savci with S Sport.
Hello, Mackenzie. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Thanks. Mackenzie, how many more wins do you think you need to earn for title shot?
I think 3 more wins.
3 more. Okay. Yeah. My other question, how does it feel to be a mother and a fighter?
Oh, it's great. It's one of the best feelings ever, because she's my biggest motivation, and my biggest cheerleader. She's always cheering for me all the time, and to know that no matter the result, no matter the training, the hard training and everything we do, she's there. And it's like the true value is our family, and on top of anything, money or work or anything like that. So it's really great to be able to have that, my daughter follow me on my career, and hopefully I can be like inspiration for her and get the belt and be a mom champion, and she can be very proud of me.
Mackenzie, you say I'm not a star, but you're a big star in Turkey. You have a huge fan base here. Do you have any message to Turkish fans?
Oh, just thank you so much. I've never been to Turkey, but I really hope to go one day soon too. And thank you everyone for all the support. It's a surprise for me, that a lot of people like me there and everything like that. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Good luck on Saturday, Mackenzie.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, Mackenzie. That is all the questions we had for you. We really appreciate the time.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Next up, we will be joined by the last athlete for the day, Cub Swanson. We now welcome UFC featherweight Cub Swanson. Cub, thank you for the time, sir.
No worries.
We will take the first set of questions from Gabriel Gonzalez with Cageside Press.
Hey, Cub, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm doing well, thank you. So the obvious question, you are coming off the injury, the surgery, the recovery this year. Can you just talk about what that was like this year in 2020?
It was tough. I pretty much was doing physical therapy 3 times a week and then like a regular strength training twice a week because I didn't want to lose mobility in my shoulders and definition in other places. So basically me and my wife, we lost our babysitter because we weren't, with the lockdowns and everything. We were trading off. I would work out all morning and then be with the kids at night, and she would go to work. So that was our schedule, and I was doing 5 days a week. And I pretty much maintained that all year. Even with the quarantines, when that happened, I was able to continue to work out because it was essential. I just had to do it with a mask on, which wasn't easy. Sometimes doing 2.5 hour workouts with a mask on. So I didn't get why people were complaining about it. But yeah, it was difficult, but I got through and I'm here and I'm ready.
I saw you talk to MMA Junkie Radio, and you brought up something that I'd really like to know a lot more about. You spoke to Dominic Cruz about getting unranked, like asking them to take away your ranking. How the heck does that work? Because I feel like a bunch of guys would benefit from that.
Well, it's not something I did. Unfortunately, it worked out that I got unranked by losing the fights. But it was just something that he said to me when we were at the PI a while ago, and I was like, man, I never thought of that. Didn't even know that was an option. But all I was trying to make the point is that it is a little freeing, somewhere along the line. And I've said this many times, that my goal when I got into the sport was to just try to be a better human and to try to see how good I could be. And by accomplishing goals, but somewhere along the line, you feel like you have to be the world champ to be validated, doing this as a career. And I feel like I earned the right to try, but was never given that opportunity multiple times. So that left me a little bitter over time. But when I really thought about it, that was never my goal. To have a shiny belt was never my ultimate goal. It would have been nice to have that stamp on my career, and I would, if it was offered to me, I would still take it. But my ultimate goal is to be the best version of myself. And now that I'm not worried about like any kind of rankings or anything like that, I get excited about names and possibilities of fights. And I talked about possibly 135, 155. Staying at this weight, like I just feel excited about the options. Like, ooh, I could do that, and that excites me.
So I guess if you had to pick, would you want to be matched up with another legend, or would you care about, hey, this guy at this time is maybe the number 2 ranked guy, this could be a potential title? Like, what is Cub Swanson's, like, if he could pick, who does he want? Like, what kind of fight does he want, regardless of the numbers now?
I think the legends fight are cool, because when you look back on your career, they'll say, man, you fought so-and-so, so-and-so, and so-and-so. It's like when you fought kind of the who's who, it that in itself is an accomplishment, just to have the opportunity to share the ring with some of the best. So, I'd love to fight some of my old WC guys that I never was able to get matched up with. But, I'm still up for fighting the hungry up-and-comers and trying to teach them a lesson. But the thing about the whole rankings is, like, I just never was going to try to beg or plead my case. Like, I see some of the guys now that are like arguing over social media about how bad they want it and trying to like pick fights. And that doesn't interest me. I just want a fight, and I want to train for it, and I want to win. That's what I like to do. I don't want to be, bickering and arguing and doing the whole, hey, look at me thing. That I'm just not into that part of it.
Hey, thank you, Cub. Appreciate the time.
Mm-hmm.
We will take our next set of questions from Steven Morocco with MMA Fighting.
Hey, Cub. So the last time we saw you shut down Kron. Then you did this grappling competition. You did a great job. You tore your knee. How much, if at all, do you think about luck in the fight game, and specifically your luck?
I mean, I think about it sometimes, and I don't really think I have bad luck. I think that, one thing that I've prided myself on is that, tough situations, make for tougher people. And that was one of my goals as well, as getting into the sport, is I wanted to be a tougher human. I wanted to be, a tougher man. And basically when I had kids, I'd be able to be like a superhero to them. And I feel like I'm accomplishing that. So, all these like tough times that I've had in my career, I've just been able to prove that I can persevere. And to me, that means everything.
what sort of care do you think they're going to need long term for the injuries that you sustained in the octagon?
I wonder that, especially like I said, with having kids, I just hope that I'm able to, have health insurance all the way through and get the things I need to get done. I realize that I've, put my body through a lot, and but I've always thought at the same time, like if I was a plumber or any kind of worker in that industry, which a lot of people that I grew up with are, I would imagine that their bodies feel the same. Their backs are wrecked, but they would have just been a lot more unhealthy with their eating. So I think I've abused my joints and things like that, but I've been eating healthy and not doing drugs and things like that for so long that I feel like I've treated my body good in that sense. So, like I said, it's on my mind here and there, but I think as long as I stay in shape and do all the things necessary to clean up my joints and do all that kind of stuff, that I'll be fine.
Do you think that the UFC should offer any kind of long-term health insurance for veterans like you?
I definitely do, but that's not my call. I definitely think that a lot of these fighters should, be taken care of long-term. But I think that I feel like we're in that kind of situation where it's like, the early NFL players, like we're the ones that kind of set the standard, and then the people, the next generation are probably going to get all those benefits when, from us growing the sport. But I also can't, try to rip on them in any way, because they've been blessed me with the opportunity to have a great life. And when I did injure this knee, that I was insured through the grappling tournament, and the UFC was like, no, we're going to handle it. And they took over and they made sure I got to see the right surgeon, and they were on top of it, paid for everything. So, they do a good job with things like that. But as far as making sure we're taken care of long-term, hopefully that happens in the future.
Random question now. I don't think I know a fighter that's broken his hands more than you. And I was talking to Trevor Whitman, or Trevor Whitman was giving an interview to fighters, or to the media in Fight Island a little while ago. And he was talking about how difficult it is to punch with the correct knuckles when you put on the UFC glove. Do you experience that at all?
Yeah. I've said it for a long time that I wasn't a fan of the way they're made. I don't think it's an easy fix. They've asked me, because I've been outspoken about it before, they've asked me what I would change about it, and I've kind of told them, but I don't think I have all the answers, because I think it would take, definitely a team of people over time to make them perfect. But yeah, I definitely think that it's hard to grapple and strike and do all that with the gloves and the wraps that we have. I definitely think that I have thinner bones in my hands. So that's a little bit of genetics, but yeah, I think the thing about boxing is their gloves are different, obviously, but you're always in a position to strike with the right angles and the right alignment. The first time I broke my hand in a fight, it was because I was in a heel hook, and I leaned over and I threw kind of like a downward arcing strike, and I hit it with one knuckle as opposed to two or three knuckles, and all that force was on one knuckle, and it just popped straight up. So I think the angles that we have to fight at are extremely difficult, and the gloves could be a lot better, but it's going to take some time.
Thank you, Cub.
We will take our next set of questions from Ryan McCarthy with Low Kick MMA.
Hey, Cub, how's it going?
How's it going?
Good. Just wanted to see. You had fought Kron Gracie about 14 months ago, so that's a long layoff. And of course, you tore your ACL and meniscus. So, what's it like coming back? 14 months later. Is that a difficult process?
Yeah, the process in general was very difficult. I think I already answered that as far as how it all happened. The comeback is basically like 10 months of rehab, and then the last couple of months has been like a solid camp. I was able to do some sparring way ahead of that, helping my buddy Juan Archuleta, and then I helped a couple other fighters, including Brian Ortega, and I was able to kind of test the waters, see what I could handle, what I couldn't handle. But by the time I started my fight camp, I was completely confident in my knee. We trained all camp knowing that whoever I fought was going to try to kick me in the knee. So I'm very happy with what I was able to do and where I'm at.
For sure. And you're coming back against a tough opponent in Daniel Pineda. He's also a veteran. So, what's your thoughts on Daniel going into this fight?
I mean, my initial thoughts was he's tough everywhere. And one of the biggest things I see is no matter what position you're in, he's trying to do damage. You take his back, he's trying to elbow you. Even if you're on top of him, he's trying to hit you. So if I want to keep a clean face in this fight, I got to be aware the entire time. But yeah, he's pretty well-rounded. I think his strength is probably his ground game, but he's, obviously originally a wrestler. And his, he's got some power in his hands. So I think the fact that he's well-rounded was a little bit easier for me to train because I don't have to focus on one thing. I was really able just to, be me. And, I plan on going out there and just flowing on him.
For sure. And one last thing was, I know you had mentioned, you like fighting the up and comers, in the sport, and especially in the featherweight division. So are there any names that are, on your list after this fight, in terms of up and comers in the featherweight division?
As far as up and comers, I never really like to call anyone out because just the possibilities are endless. And I always like to see, when I'm ready to fight, who they have available and pick from those names. I don't like to pigeonhole myself with anyone in particular, but I definitely would like to run it back with Shane Burgos at some point. I feel like I didn't show my best in that match, and I think he's such an exciting fighter, and I am as well. And I feel like I could have done more in that fight, and it disappoints me. So that's a fight I'd like to do again in this division. Other than that, if they want to, pull a Rocky move and let me fight for the title, I'll take that. But other than that, I'd be open to fighting other weight classes or anyone. I don't care really.
For sure. Well, I personally would love to see you fight for the title. That'd be awesome. But thanks for giving us some time here, Cub. I appreciate it. Look forward to your fight, and best of luck on Saturday.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
We'll take our next set of questions from Chester Luo with PP Sport.
Cub, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Fine, thank you. I'm Chester from PP Sport China, and good to see you recover from the ACL injuries and back into the octagon. And it has been a very long time since your last victory over Kron Gracie. So how do you feel during this unusual year?
Well, I think everyone's been struggling this year, so I feel very normal in that aspect. Everyone's having a tough time. I feel very fortunate that I'm able to work in this, time, because a lot of people aren't able to work. So I feel blessed about that. I feel blessed that I was able to come back strong from this injury. And, as far as being a long layoff, I've been doing this a long time. I don't think it's anything different than I've done before. So I'm just excited to basically get back to work and earn some money and have some fun in there.
Okay. And my next question is, you had some ups and downs from the 2017 2017 to the 2019. So however, you had said that you are still growing and learning when you're facing those top fighters. So how long do you think you need to be one of those top fighters in your division?
I don't know. I'm taking it one fight at a time. I think I've been doing this a long time, and I'm not going to be fighting forever. So I don't feel like I need to be gunning to compare myself to any other fighters. Like I said, I know I have my best fight still in front of me, and I'm taking it one fight at a time, just trying to enjoy it. Like I said about the not being ranked, I feel it's a little freeing. I can, kind of move about and not have to worry about the ladder. It's a little bit of a stress reliever. Like I said, they gave me a name. I'm like, cool, let's do it. And to me, that's enjoyable.
Okay, thank you for your time, Cub. Good luck to your Saturday, and hope you put on another great show.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
We'll take the next set of questions from Pablo Santamaria with Noti MMA Ecuador.
Hey, Cub, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, the first thing I want to ask you is, how went your recovery? Do you feel frustrated at any point because you want to be back on the octagon?
Well, 100%. Financially, it was a tough year, but I feel like it was for everybody. So, being able to just, provide for my family was a little stressful, but knowing that when I was going to be healthy, that I would have a job to do was motivating to want to get back to full strength. But yeah, it was a frustrating time this whole year, and I feel very grateful to be here.
I get it. So Daniel is a very tough competitor. He's a veteran on the game. Also, you are. You face everything on the octagon. So what do you expect from him as an opponent?
Well, anytime, I'm the, bigger name in the sport, I know my opponent's going to take this as an opportunity to try to, shine and build off of me. So I know that he's been working hard for a long time on the lower circuit, on some other organizations. He's been fighting top competition for a long time, just not in the UFC. So I know he sees this as a big opportunity. I know he's going to come hungry. So I've been preparing for that, and I'm ready. And I think that just makes for a fight of the night.
Get it. It was difficult training under this COVID situation.
Yes, it was. I pretty much kept my training partners to a minimum. I was a little bit, more relaxed in the beginning of camp. Let's say like September, October. But by the time it got to November, I really had to start telling people, hey, no offense, I just can't train with you. I'm not bringing anyone else in. And then when it got to the end of November and early December, like closing camp, I basically had to tell my training partners, I need you to go get tested. I can't afford not to. I put in too much work, and I've done way too much to have someone get me sick and not be able to compete. So there was a little stress on that, but I feel like, everyone's been going through it. So I don't feel like I can complain about it too much.
Okay, so would you like to give us a prediction for your fight?
What would make me happy is a first round finish. Don't care if it's a knockout or submission, but I've been in some wars. I kind of enjoy the wars. My wife doesn't, so she would be happy with a first round finish and be able to get back in there soon. That would be nice. I would like to fight more often if I can, stay healthy.
Okay. So as an Ecuadorian, I want to ask you, you train with Chito and you face Jose Aldo.
Sorry, I think I lost you.
You hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So
I train with Chito and what?
And you face Jose Aldo. So what's your prediction for that fight?
You're going in and out. Man, that's a big step up for Chito, but he's gotten so much better. That I've known Chito since before the Ultimate Fighter, the Latin Ultimate Fighter, and he was at Jackson's, and I think he was one of the more inexperienced ones of the group that was there, and I felt like he was kind of treated like an outsider, and just to see him where he's at mentally and what he's done with his game and how far he's come and how hard he works, I'm really proud of him. And I think for him to be able to fight Jose Aldo is a huge opportunity for him. And as far as how I think the fight will go, I don't think he'll be the favorite in the fight, but I really like his chances. I think that he's very unorthodox. You really don't know what he's going to throw. He's pretty well-rounded, and he's game. Obviously, Aldo's been in a lot of wars. You kind of know what he brings to the table. You can game plan for him. So I really like Chito's chances. I think it's a tough fight, but I really could see him pulling it off, and I'd be happy for him.
Okay. Would you like to send a message to your Ecuadorian fans?
Of course. I've traveled all over. I haven't been to Ecuador yet. Chito has invited me many times, and that's one place I would love to go. One of my favorite things is to travel and meet fans in different countries and be, kind of like a pioneer of the sport in these smaller places. So, any Ecuadorian fans I have out there, I appreciate you. And if I come out there, please come see me. I'd love to meet you.
Okay, thank you very much, Cub, and good luck on your fight.
Thank you.
We will take the next set of questions from Augusto Niez-Gay with Somos MMA.
How are you? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, Cub, you have a ton of experience, but since this is your first fight during the pandemic, I want to know, because a lot of things of this fight week might be new for you. So how are you living this new normality in the fighting game?
Well, it's been different, but I feel like I've kind of adjusted to it because I've been quarantined at home with my kids for the whole year. So this is I've had 4 days break of no crying. So that has been, some stress off my back. But I'm enjoying the new experience. It hasn't bothered me at all. It's been pretty relaxed. We've been, it's usually, talking to you guys that stresses me out more than anything. So I haven't had to do too much of that. Just focus on the fight. And yeah, I'm excited. The fact that there's going to be no crowd, I'm excited about that too. I think it could really elevate my game and just have to focus on just my opponent, which I think is all I should be focusing on.
Oh, so you prefer no crowd and at the stadium?
Yeah. I honestly, I like the crowd. It's been awesome, but I really feel like there's tons of athletes that, don't shine when there's a crowd. So I just think that I spend a lot of time looking at sports and seeing why some athletes make it and some don't. That's always intrigued me. And I feel like some of them just don't handle the crowd so well. And that extra pressure the crowd brings. I feel like fighting in an arena like this with no crowd and just you and your opponent is like being at the gym with a lot riding on it.
Awesome. And Cub, my last question. You have been talking about this possibility of going up or down between divisions. So first I want to know what's more likely for you, if 135 or 155. And if you say 135, I want to know, what do you think about the rematch against Jose Aldo? Because I think a lot of fans would love that fight.
Yeah, I think that if I, put my body through it, to go down to 135, the only two fights I really want is probably Aldo or Uriah, just for the fans' sake. But if I went up, it would be also like I said, like an Anthony Pettis or somebody that's exciting to me. People may want to see me and Charles Oliveira again or something. But yeah, like I said, I just want to have exciting fights. This is a comeback fight for me, just to show that I'm still here. I still got it. and I'm getting better. Then after this, if they want to throw me something fun, then that would be exciting.
Sounds great, man. Good luck on Saturday.
Thank you.
We will take our last set of questions from Omar Mert Savci with S Sport.
Okay.
Hello, Cub. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Thanks, man. Cub, my question is, what do you think about UFC releasing Yoel Romero?
I mean, I was kind of shocked, but I mean, from a business standpoint, I guess it makes sense. He's he got to fight for the title. He's fought all the guys at the top, and then I feel like at this point, all he's going to do is take out all the up and comers and get, stop them from getting title fights. But I mean, it's not my decision. Like I said, I thought he was exciting, but I feel like we did see a little bit of a decline from him in his last couple of performances. So it kind of made sense.
Okay, my last question. Who do you think is the greatest of all time in all MMA history?
Whew.
Hard question, right?
Yeah. I'd have to say I could. It's hard because for my reasons, I think Anderson Silva, has, stuck around a little longer than he probably should have. But he loves to compete, and I don't hate on the fact that he still wants to fight. John Jones is probably one of the most amazing we've seen. But with his issues outside and I feel like he shoots himself in the foot a lot. That kind of takes it away from me as well. I think George St. Pierre is probably one of my favorites because of the way he carried himself as a champion the whole time, and I think he represented the sport as one of the best. So just because I like that, I'd probably say between him and Demetrius Johnson. Who doesn't, get enough credit. But yeah, I feel like it's kind of a hard question to answer because it depends on what part of the sport you're giving, the most basis on. If it's on just dominating a division the longest, I feel like Anderson Silva. But for me, character comes into it, and so I'd have to say Demetrius and GSP.
Okay, thank you, Cub. Good luck on Saturday.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Cub. That is all the questions we had for you, sir. We really appreciate the time.
Yeah, thank you.
And that concludes the UFC 256 prelim virtual media day. We would like to thank everyone for being here today and your supporting coverage. We will distribute video and audio downloads from today's events to your emails as soon as they are available. Have a great day, everyone. We'll see you on Saturday.